picture up front. I told him that. It was
You regret it.
10 volt. Okay. 3 minutes.
Wait a minute.
Hey, you take a shower?
I was in a hurry. No.
Check, I'm
My
not gonna get.
smell, I'm sorry.
No, that's, I was gonna do 1 minute and then.
Perfect. Sounds good. Hi, John.
How we doing? Hey,
Want to mow more yard?
Did you mowing today? Were you mowing?
I asked him if he took a shower.
Carry some smelly stuff in the car and away you
I
go.
smell fresh cut grass. It's a great cologne.
Stay down and cut him, John, stay down and cut him.
you big ugly.
They treated my car. Now it's like,
We're going to
it's a race
the
between
High State Spring Game
being able to
Saturday.
walk and being able to get
No,
on the
we've,
mower.
we've gone before. The one year, Bill and I and Rick and Margot went, it snowed, it was freezing cold, we're all buying sweatshirts.
I want to mow. I want to mow so
Bill
bad,
and
I
Rick
can't
ended
stand
up staying at the game. Margot and I were
I
like,
love my
we're
mower.
out of here. We went back to the car. It was freezing.
it. I got it.
But then we've gone, one of the year, the year that Maddie Lynn was, Miss Ohio, Amy and I stayed and went to the Daffodil Luncheon, and they all went to the spring game, and it was real hot.
Yeah,
And so we've been when it's real nice too.
yeah, there was one.
It should be nice
Real
this weekend.
hot. And one time was real cold, but wasn't snowing, but it was still sitting there.
Oh my gosh, it was so cold. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? This is a spring game, and it was freezing.
Ron and a bunch of his friends went up to Akron last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to watch Colt Key, Mary Keith's son.
Uh-huh.
Right now, he's with the Erie Seawolves, but I think he's gonna get that moved to Toledo. But he said, "Oh, you're so glad you came."
Mary Jane.
Is that right?
He came to me. And we was putting in, when I go home tonight, I'm going to take the Benny off.
Right,
It just
right.
dissolves. And then you put another piece in.
Mary Jane.
It's good. Yeah, it's close enough. Pretty good.
You shove it down in?
Right.
Yeah, just tack it down under the finger.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw those
Sweet
for
neuropathy.
their mask requirement.
Or the,
Do you believe that? I'm like,
The last one in the state of Ohio.
yeah, right? No, not doctors.
we ready?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, it's 6
Oh,
o'clock.
wait, I gotta go.
Okay. City Council now be in session. Would you please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Evancho.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Laufman.
Here.
Leonard.
Here.
McMillan. Wolverton.
Here.
Zaleski.
Here.
Reading of minutes, Mr. Leonard
I make a motion, we dispense the reading of minutes and place on file.
and Mr. Wolverton.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Mayor's report. Mayor Orr.
Good afternoon, council. It's a beautiful day out in the neighborhood. I think we're going to have a good stretch for the next 6 days. And that's kind of how the momentum shifted on Monday after the holiday weekend. Hopefully, everyone had an outstanding Easter weekend with their families. Right on your list in front of you, we have number one, request from Police Chief Delancey to appropriate $300 check to vehicle maintenance and $375 reimbursement check to equipment and $3,077.15 reimbursement check also to equipment. Number two, you might need your pen for this one. We got a little bit of a change here. request from code enforcement to appropriate $17,402.77. The paper you may have, if you total the two together, you would get that, for tax liens collected and to services by contract. And 3, request from the engineer for authorizations to apply for the Ohio Water Development Authority for the water supply revolving loan account to fund the lead service line project, Phase 2, and for authorization to advertise for bids and enter into contract for lead service line replacement projects, again, Phase 2.
Okay, all 3 of your requests will be referred to the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. I have my little list on the side, which is quite lengthy, and I'll try to get most of it without no particular order. Things are coming quick. Arbor Day's around the corner. I talk about trees from time to time. With us being Tree City, USA City, we are going to host the Tree City, USA. Maybe you've caught bits and pieces of this, but it's going to be on the 26th of this month. We'll be hosting all kinds of cities. We've been receiving checks to come to, it's a pretty special day. They take a the state representatives will come down. It's going to be hosted over at the St. Benedict's, what used to be the Cambridge Junior High, in that gym area in there. The parking's good over in that area. It's on a flat surface for the handicap, and they can get in and out of there in pretty good shape. But we're looking really forward to hosting that. That's a real pride thing with Clark Street, Steubenville Avenue, 10th Street, 8th Street. The trees, I think you'll all notice some of them's really starting to bloom a little bit here in the last couple of weeks. Some of the new plants won't really kick in until next year, but you can see them getting, once that all gets going about 4 or 5 years from now, it's going to be something else. This one is not something I'm real happy about, but it just is what it is for now, and doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. We'll be locking the compost facility up. The last episode really pretty much was the last straw. But truthfully, we had issues before that. We got contractors bringing random loads in. We can't referee it. Now, some people say, well, staff it and pay somebody to be out. You just can't. You can't put a special lifting electronic door and pass card. It just, no matter how you look at this thing, it's a stinker. And if you actually go down and visually look at it, you'll see that it's just clear out of control. 2 years ago, we spent $50,000 to $75,000 with a bulldozer and moved all that around and grinded and tore stuff up. And it was a little better, but it just never lasted. Probably about 10 years ago, I think Paul got a grant along with some other matching funds. We spent maybe closer to 75,000 again, maybe higher, closer to 100. We had someone vandalize the bulldozers, and we brought what's called a tub grinder that really grinds things out. To bring that in and fix the current issues would be $150,000 to $200,000. And Tom Lanning's like, it's just not happening. Now, we'll still pick up sticks. We do that for the residents. We always have. The storms we've had the last 2 or 3 years where these bunches of trees go down and they're older, and we've put a lot in there. But a lot of these tree companies, not being mean, they bid them accordingly, and I know the price will go up because they'll have to get rid of. It's just not going to be there. Now, as we move forward, again, the street department's in charge of that. There'll be certain emergency situations. We'll do what we can, if we have a big issue. But as far as day in, where everybody can just get down there and dump whatever they want to, that day's come to an end. So, again, that's being discussed about administratively, but that's where we're at now. So we're going to get some fussing. We're spoiled. I mean, we just are. Nobody usually has something like that. And it's just been abused so that I don't know where all them tree stuff comes from. It's not all in City Cambridge, I can tell you that. But I'm sure we're getting, out in the townships and different places too. Spring cleanup. Okay. Well, I've been bringing this up. It's the 28th. It's this month. And I want you guys to pay attention here. This is going to be serious. We're holding back right now. I'm getting that every year about this time. Sun comes out and people kick me in the ankle and they're like, "Oh, Mayor, I seen this house and had all this stuff, and what are you gonna do about this? I can't believe it's been 3 years," or, whatever. But I get it. This is the chance for free to get this stuff hauled out. If you have difficulties, you're a senior, call Kim Conrad's office. To the council, please, when you get whenever, you're out to dinner and someone says it, jot it down, because you forget, I know how it works. And then send the emails or bring your calls in, whatever it takes to get that done. My office telephone number for the world out there, of course, we don't have a phone book anymore, I get that. 439-1050. Kelly, my assistant, graciously will get you to the right area, register, whatever. Kim Conrad can be, you can farm to her, or clerk of council, or myself, or any of you guys or girls. 28th, and that Friday, Saturday, it's all day Friday, half a day Saturday, so it's 28th, 29th, I think. Okay, grass mowing, let's hit that. It's that time, everyone's running around, starting to get excited out there. We have 8 inches, and then we get involved. Now, we know how that works. There'll be a couple of ones that pop on the radar that we didn't mow before, and then there'll be some habituals that we've been into before. Now, truthfully, we've made some inroads over the last couple of years, and that number I just gave you a little bit ago, 17,000, that's one of the top 3, if not right up there. And we're gonna burn most of that and then some, because we got a couple of places that need tore down and different things. But grass mowing is ongoing. Had some meetings with the court and their operation up there. Skip Weatherall's up there now. Towing and license tags. We want to work with the residents on this. Hypothetically, park the car in a normal direction, heading in the driveway, and the license tag's expired or something, we're not getting into all that. But when they're cockeyed out in the middle of the yard, and there's 3 of them, and there's a half a tarp, and the window's down, and the chicken jumps out, no, none of them yet. We've had a couple of them, but they're gonna get towed. We had one towed this last week, sat for 3 years. It's been warned 4 times. Yes, you don't do this every day of the week, but 3 years. And when the guy finally came out, he said, "Well, I bought that car, but it didn't have a title, and I just never figured out how to take care of that." And I thought, who buys a car without a title?
Let it sit for 3 years.
Well, anyhow, that's what happened there, and he's gone now. But stuff like that. But the bottom line is, let's freshen some stuff up and get things tuned up a little bit. Now, the sticks, you're seeing a lot of them out there, because we've had winds from, we got as many roof shingles laying around out there as we got sticks. But put them out to the edge of the yard, and as we make our moves around, and our guys come and go out of the compost facility all day long, and we can handle that. And again, we just want to know what we got going on down there. We just got to back her down. A little bit of fussing in this area is not a bad thing, because it'll let us know who our clients are or not. We've got gas line people running around out there, water line people with lead base. And of course, we got the illustrious Dewey Avenue project. I don't know what ditch they're building to.
They're filling it in.
They're filling it in, but the sewer hadn't been hooked up yet accordingly. Oops, time out here. There's something to that. Downtown, we got to finally getting what we were trying to get late last year, and it looks very nice. Get our markings down. Of course, some people had forgot that you put crosswalks back down through there. We haven't had any for so long there. Flags, we had a little issue there. It's all taken care of. The island down across from Wendy's, we had the half-staff thing going, but the proper protocol of the flags, the veterans gave us the poles and kind of helped us out, and I guess the Vietnam flag needs to be up one and the state flag down one, so got that taken care of. April 23rd, you want to know this one, we're going to start having hydrant flushing all throughout the city. April 23rd, the crews are going to start, so you're going to have random water issues where, somebody's going to see a lot of water pouring, and it's just going to be coming out of one of the fire hydrants. and somebody may not be standing there at that moment. It's somewhat planned. And then I just want to take a moment to reach out to there's been many people pass over the last couple of years, but I guess when you're doing this business and you know people that kind of done things in your community, the age you are and the things people do for you. But Connie DeZelm and Mary Jane Enley, two families that have been very active in our community, and just want to reach out and just tell them we're with them and during a tough time. And that's pretty much it, Council, unless you have something you're going to ask me.
Are there any questions of the mayor this evening? Ms. McMillan?
Mayor, on the Tree City USA ceremony, do you have a time for that? That it starts or anything? Or could maybe Kelly email us or?
I'll get an email out to you.
I
to
think
let
we
you know.
held it once.
We hosted it one other time.
It was really,
Yeah, it's very unique.
is.
It is very unique. And if you could stop in for just a little bit,
yeah.
and to see, like, when I started looking at the list, like Martins Ferry, New Philadelphia, Coshocton, Dover, I mean, we don't get a lot of activities like that, where they really want to come and see how we did what we did and how, how we've been a Tree City this long. It's, even New Concord's been asking me some questions about it and stuff, so.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get with Kelly on that tomorrow because I know there has to be an RSVP and there is a fee. So I'll get that from Kelly tomorrow and send it to council.
Thank you.
Also, Mayor, one more, the stick pickup, and I know, I'm glad we're continuing that, but they can bring, if they collect anything, they could bring it to the cleanup on the 28th and 29th.
Oh, yeah. They can bring it there, or else if the sticks are in the side yard. A lot of times people just
And I
randomly
don't,
pick
a lot
'em
of
up.
people aren't aware that
Yeah.
the city will pick them up, but they will.
Yeah, we just pick them up at our leisure. You can call the garage and say they're out there, but they'll
Right.
come through there sometime 5, 8, 10 days. I don't know. Usually a couple, 3 days.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we'll go to communications.
I have 2 checks that I need to have appropriated that were received from the insurance company.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to refer to Finance Committee.
Ms. McMillan.
Second to motion?
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion- Negative also, yeah.
What?
All opposed, same sign. Jeez. Okay, well, that request has been approved. Next, please.
I have a request from the city auditor, 2 of them actually. The first one is she's asking council to pass a resolution to remove from our fixed assets for enterprise any and all department funds that items under the current threshold of $5,000 be removed, and she will explain the reason for that request. And the second one is to consider the request to apply to the state of Ohio for permission to establish a new fund for the purpose of the collection of EMS funds. She's just trying to get ahead of the game that when our levy passes, that she'll have to have that fund set up in order to collect the funds. So she's just getting ahead of the game.
Mr. Laughlin.
Motion to refer to Finance.
Mr. Wolverton,
I'll second that motion.
all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Next, please.
I have a request from the service director. This is his annual request where he will need council to adopt a resolution for him to purchase ODOT a winter salt contract. This allows him to get the salt from ODOT at a reduced price, and it seems odd to do it this early, but it has to be to ODOT before May 1st.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to refer to Finance Committee.
Mr. Zaleski,
I'll second that.
all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Next, please.
Yes, this one is one that would probably need to go to the City Services Committee. We've been requested by the Southeastern Ohio Joint Solid Waste Management District to pass a resolution to ratify the waste management plan.
Yeah, Mr. Wolverton
I'll make a motion to refer to City Services.
and Mr. Laughlin,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And that's granted as well. Next, please.
I have the February monthly report from municipal court, and I also have the 2022 annual report. I do not know, I think I emailed all of that, the annual report to all of you. Judge Liston did not say that she was planning to come, so she may be here at the next meeting or not, but I wanted to at least get it into the record that it's been presented.
Yeah,
I make a motion, we accept those reports and place on file.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Mr. Wolverton,
I'll second that motion.
all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. And we're moving on to reports of committees.
And we do not have any.
There we go. Unfinished business. Nothing under unfinished business. We'll go to the audience portion. If you wish to speak before council, please approach the podium. You will get 5 minutes. We'd like you to state your name and address. And at the 4-minute mark, you'll be notified that you have 1 more minute. So, and it's time to shut up, I guess, after that.
So I can't go for 10 minutes? I'll keep this really short. David Gall, resident at 831 Highland. Just want to acknowledge the streets department. We have, between myself and our neighbors, we had a tree that was actually over the Highland Avenue street there. And it was breaking down. It needed to be cut up. And I was just going to tackle it myself. But I thought, maybe I'll just stop into the streets department. And I ran across Tim. So I just wanted to acknowledge that within 48 hours of that conversation, I seen him I think it was Monday morning. By Tuesday afternoon, they had gotten up there and they had trimmed that up. So I thought, I want to acknowledge the streets department for the quick response. It's also an unfortunate thing, though, to hear tonight that area down where you could take clippings, you could take, and it's unfortunate because you're right. Some people or whoever put stuff in there that really shouldn't belong there. And it was a great benefit to the community to be able to keep sustainability of if somebody's trying to clean up a property or a lot or a home or whatever, they'd have some place to take it without, incurring any additional costs. And it would just break down in the site anyways. So I'm sad to hear that. Maybe there's some other solution out there. We'll hopefully be able to come up with something. But with that, I just wanted to acknowledge the streets department for the great work they're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gall. Anybody else? We'll wait till you get up here, Dick, I promise.
Good evening. I'm Richard Preston, 1300 North 10th Street, right here in Cambridge. 2 issues. Number 1, North 10th Street right in front of the driveway, going into our garage. Tired of bouncing in, tired of bouncing out. All we get's Band-Aids. Stock of Johnson & Johnson ought to be way up there. The Band-Aids we're getting. Last summer, they put something down that I never even heard of. Something better than Cold Patch, but not as good as Blacktop. All you got to do is stand uphill and look down, and you can just see where the blacktop is getting eaten up. There's a sump pump about 5 foot uphill. That's what eats it up. When we moved there, it was concrete. Didn't phase it. They blacktopped it. It started eating it up. I've actually seen over the years chunks of blacktop coming out of there because of hard rains just getting underneath what has got loosened and washed it down the street. It needs taken clear down to the concrete. All the way down to the cement apron for Brooklyn Avenue. And then put concrete back in. And you won't be out there in 2 or 3 years putting Band-Aids on it again. Second issue, concrete apron to Brooklyn Avenue. I don't know. Been inside of 3 years ago because Ann wasn't living when it happened. water main breaks right there at the same time. They come out, put concrete down like they usually do. Then street department comes out and blacktops it the rest of the way up. I could hear in the drum going around Ready Mix. I asked the driver, where do you go next? He says, this is my last stop. I says, well, I can hear stuff in there. He says, yeah. So what do you got in there? He went over and looked and he said it in yards, and that don't mean a thing to me. I said, do you think you could do this apron with what you got? He said, I could pretty much do it. But no, because I knew the utility department does not come out and put the finishing coat on. The street department does. So that concrete that you paid for, taxpayers paid for, ended up right out the place you're gonna lock up. Dumped it out. It needs, there's a drop off, I don't know, about that high. Right along that edge. The farther south you go, the drop off's not near as bad. They never did come back out and bring it up to level. When Ann was living, I used to park there. But now it's a one-man band, so I just park in the driveway. But the biggest issue is in front of the driveway. And it needs done, and it needs done right. So you're not back out there in 2 or 3 years doing it again.
You have 1 minute, sir.
Not bad. I packed it in 4 minutes.
I
thought I
greatly
might have-
appreciate that.
Thought I might have to ask for an extension.
Well, I do want you to know, Dick, that a couple weeks ago, I had asked the engineer about it when he was here for another issue, and that was 10th Street was part of what was going to be, it was going to be done when the Edgeworth Avenue project was done, and rightfully so, that project has been put on hold while the Southgate Bridge is being done, and, you know, and give everybody a breath from everything else that's gone through. But I know I think he was thinking about trying to figure out what else maybe to do about it. So I want you to know that at least he knows about it, and he's the one that kind of takes care of those things through the administration. So, but we'll with the mayor, we'll get with him again and voice the concerns, because I go up 10th Street all the time, and from the duck pond on clear up past your house to the cemetery, something needs to be done. So,
Right now, there's some pretty decent sized holes right in front of the driveway.
got you.
But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dick. Appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
Okay. Is there anybody else under the audience portion? If not, we'll go to new business. Is there anything under new business? If not, we don't have ordinances and resolutions
We do
tonight,
not.
so we'll go right to miscellaneous. Mr. Devancho.
Yes, Finance will meet next Monday, April 17th at 4:30.
And Mr. Wolverton.
City Services will meet at 4:45 or thereafter finance.
And we don't have anything else. Miss Castle.
I just wanted to give a thanks and a congratulations to Heath Dawson and all the folks from the Living Word that sponsored the community sunrise service yesterday morning. I attended. I know there were probably about 150 to 175 people there. I know Councilman Leonard was there because I passed him on the walkway. So if any of the rest of you were there, I'm sorry I missed you, but it was a wonderful service for our community. Last year they had about 120, so I know it grew. So just if you don't have a home church and you don't have a sunrise service, consider coming to the Living Word next year. It's remarkable to see a true ecumenical spirit with all denominations and all different types of folks being there to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. And it was a great morning, and just want to encourage everyone to think about attending next year. But thanks to Heath Dawson and the folks at the Living Word for putting that on.
I hope to be on 2 feet so I can go to it next year. Ms. McMillan.
I have a couple of things. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the Cambridge Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting the legislative luncheon last week. Very well attended, very informative. It was a great event. Our chamber is a great organization, very active. If you see events that they're having, I encourage you to try to join in and see what they're doing because it was great. I really enjoyed it. Second of all, I had a constituent stop by my house, and I think this probably goes for all of my fellow council members. Many of us no longer have home phones, face it. We don't have a phone book, we don't have home phones. And they couldn't get a hold of me. I just encourage any of the constituents, any of the residents, if you are trying to get a hold of us, contact Sharon in the office, and she has our numbers that you can get a hold of us at. We're always willing to take calls or, perhaps give you a call back. And last but not least, for all you ice cream lovers, Parkside Tasty Treat open today at 4 o'clock. Summer is almost here. So
Right.
stop out and patronize them. Yeah.
I cry 2 times a year, the day it opens out of joy and the day it closes out of
Yeah,
sadness.
right.
Anything else? Anybody? Okay. Mr. Lynn, if you visit, you'll have to take a picture and send that to your trainer.
Yeah.
Okay. If not, we'll go to Mr. Leonard.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn then.
We're adjourned. Yeah.
You didn't go have ice cream after we did that this morning, did you?
I got, my calendar's in there. Let me
You
get
didn't
it.
eat ice cream after we did that workout.
No, if she's gone, then we won't be able to have a meeting.